All right, 5 great minutes with Steve Cyr, superhost and subject of the book Whale Hunt in the Desert. Follow him on Twitter at Steve Cyr Vegas, CYR, and stevecyr.com, CYR. Read the book about him a couple of years, well, a long time ago, actually. Proud to call him a friend. I couldn't put it down after 2 days. It's an incredible read. I think the one time I interviewed you on the air, the first time, we talked for over an hour. We obviously can't do that here. But this is going to be a fun interview. Can you tell people what it is you do? Explain your job, please.
The Reader's Digest version is I'm an agent, like a Jerry Maguire, in between the customer and the casino. I negotiate, like I'm Larry Flynt's host. That's not a secret. So I negotiate, can Larry split aces 4 times on a blackjack game? Can he double down after a split? If he loses $1 million and pays in 30 days, does he give a 15% discount? If he has an average bet of at least $45,000 for 4 hours, does he get another $50,000 in free promotional chips after 4 hours of play? Yes. Does his wife get a $10,000 shopping spree? Yes, because we need to keep her busy so Larry can play. So I negotiate and I try to keep the customer happy and I try to keep the casino happy. I'm that broker in between, and I earn a commission based on the casino action.
Do you root for players to lose?
It depends on the jurisdiction. That's a fair question. In Vegas, in Clark County, I actually hope they win, Paulie, because I earn on theoretical. So if you win, you bet more, you play longer. When I take them to the Atlantis or on a cruise line or the California casino, to be honest, I hope they lose because I get 10% of the loss. So if they win, I get 0.
How did you get into this, and how many players do you rep?
This is my 30th year. I started a long time at age 22 at Caesar's Palace, so I was a regular just casino host on the floor. I mean, I originally started Paulie in dice. If you bought in for $300, I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Steve Cyr, and on Saturday night I was to invite them back for Sunday brunch. And now, of course, 30 years later, I went independent in '99, got my gaming license. And, I don't have thousands of players. I have there's high rollers and whales. A high roller is someone that'll come for a weekend and risk 25,000, we'll say, to 100,000. A whale, believe it or not, it's not necessarily $1 million players. There's guys that'll risk 100,000 to a few million. If I have a guy from California, he comes every couple of weeks with 100 grand. That's a whale, because at the end of the year, you got a shot at $1 million or so. I have about 70 guys in the 100,000 and up range. It might not sound like a lot, but there's only 52 weeks in a year. That's a lot of ballers for sure. And so, and I'm one-stop shopping for them. They're freezing their ass off in New York. I send them down to the Bahamas, the Norwegian cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
They want to chase tits and ass, come to Vegas and let's go to the Cosmo or the Hard Rock. You want to be mellow, let's go to the Barona in San Diego, and the kids can go to SeaWorld and you can play golf and gamble. So where they want to gamble, I try to put their trips together. I'm taking a guy in 2 weeks over to the Hippodrome in London, a big casino over there. So wherever they go, I try to set the deal up for them to gamble.
What's the strangest thing you've done to get a player?
I can't say that over the air. To get a player, it's just persistence. Larry, I can talk about him because he doesn't care. I sent him a basket of cookies every Monday for almost 8 months. And I'd never, and I got kicked out of his office twice. I remember once he called me late Monday and was like, hey, where's my cookies? And I was like, damn it, Larry, but I finally got him based on the deal. And he's a really good guy. But it's just persistence. A couple times I went over to the MGM once and I bought into a dice game for a couple $1,000 because I knew the whale was on the other end. And it was a $100 minimum dice game. So with odds and 2 numbers, my whole $2,000 was on the layout in like 5 minutes. And thank God I won a little. And I won a little for him. And he came over and shook my hand and tried to give me a $1,000 chip. I took it, of course, and I was like, hey, his name was Mr. F. I go, Mr. F, I'm Steve Cyr. I just came over here to steal you away. And I got him off the game. I'm barred now from going into the MGM, but it was worth it.
How many contacts do you have, and do you rely on that, hey, so-and-so's in town, he's staying here, and maybe in the past or even now that you're trying to get a big-time whale or a high roller?
You mean moles for
Yes.
Limo drivers, VIP, countless. I mean, information is key. I need to know who's in those villas, who's in the penthouses, people when they come in on the private planes. So that's key. But, I've been doing it so long now, Paulie. A lot of them call me a big player. He gambles at more than one place, and it's cool. He wants the big deal, and a lot of times I'll just go over and have a beer with a guy. I don't even get him to gamble. It's just about that relationship. And I'm lucky because I'm independent that I can, I'm not stuck at Caesars or stuck at Bellagio or stuck at the Mirage. I can go wherever I want, so it's a big advantage.
Steve Cyr, our guest, top host in the country, subject of the book Whale Hunt in the Desert. Steve Cyr Vegas on Twitter, CYR. What's that speech you give? How do you start your speech at Cornell University?
Well, I'm really lucky. The book's been really cool, and it is required reading at Cornell and NYU. And usually, I guess to get their attention, I hope they don't think I'm being an asshole, but I usually start by saying, I'm a 2.3 from UNLV. And you just spent $200,000 on 4 years of education at Cornell to get the same degree I have. And to be honest, no one ever gives a shit that you're a 4.0 from Cornell. I work in a job, Polly, where the Braves make more than the Chief. The girl I date now, she's going to save 80 to 100 grand this summer being a cocktail waitress at rehab. Does she care that you're a 4.0 from Cornell? No. So you're going to go spend 200 grand of daddy's money. And now what? You make 50, 60 grand a year as assistant hotel manager? That's just the reality of the business, and then I'm nice to them and I say, hey, your degree's important. It will work out, but it is, come on, the strippers are making more than the people that graduate from college right now.
Oh, there's nothing like it. How about how the club scene has exploded, Steve? And these guys come in and drop $100,000 on alcohol.
It's not a fad. When I first started, the only casinos were outside, or the casinos didn't have nightclubs. There was called the Shark Club and Botany's. This is in the late 80s, 90s. And now, light changed everything. And then, these DJs make millions of dollars. And I tell you, Paulie, even 20 years ago, my department was the king because 80% of every dollar was from the casino. Now it's not that way. Now it's a third casino, maybe. It's a third hotel and conventions and a third nightlife. It's, you're renting space. We sell Sky vodka that you can get at Albertsons for $10 for $450. You're renting space.
Yes.
And they do it. And they wait in line. And DJ Aoki's there. And, it's unbelievable. The minimum booth. I was at Omnia. I like that club over at Caesars. And the minimum booth was $2,600. And they have like 80 booths. Up to, 30,000 minimum. If you and I go and have 2 Diet Cokes, it doesn't matter. We got to spend over $2,000. Plus the waitress gets a 20% auto grad. So that chick's making $400 a booth. So it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's not going away. And it's just the club scene. And, I wish I was more involved with the club scene because it's definitely amazing. You can't lose there. In the casino, we can get beat up. We get a lot of days where we get beat up. But, man, not in the club scene. You're renting space. An average rehab when I was there, when I was at the Hard Rock, like a non-Memorial Day, just an average Sunday, we do like $600,000 in sales for a pool party. It's $100 for a dude to walk in, $50 for a girl, just to walk in, and then a Red Bull vodka's $12. I know. And look, these aren't rich people. These are kids that save. I think they're all going to be broke by the time they're 30. But they're maxing out their cards and they're going to the pool party. It's the culture we live in. Thank God for them. I need degenerates. So that's how I make a living.
Great job by Steve Cyr. You won't want to miss part 2 tomorrow. He gets into these high roller demands and what they ask for, tickets, crazy demands, and what they want as well. That'll be coming up. And what do you think about the Raiders to Las Vegas and possible McGregor-Mayweather fight as well?
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sprpicks.com.